How do you end a story in a way that ties up the loose ends and saves one last dramatic flourish so that readers keep reading all the way through? One way is to reframe the story you've been telling all along so that the ending for the reader is not what they've been expecting, but is a different one replaced by a conclusion that ends the story but doesn't satisfy in the way that might have been anticipated. There's a well-known passage in this week's Parsha that says the Torah is not in heaven. Our tradition is a sacred one, yet its details do not reside in a realm beyond our reach. The Torah tells us it is not beyond the sea, a distant and dangerous goal that we are too fearful to attempt to possess. Rather, the Parsha tells us Torah is in our mouths and in our hearts. It is in our mouths in the sense that it is, or it should be, filled with teachings that we repeat and learn on a daily basis, as familiar to us as any popular song or saying. Torah is an open book, not some secret set of teachings restricted to a particular group or class. When Torah becomes that familiar to us, it certainly takes its place in our hearts. We cannot help but be moved by its drama, by its ethical concerns, by its rituals. Who can remain unmoved by Abraham's faith in God when he was told to bind Isaac on the altar, or Sarah's laughter when she heard that she would conceive a child? Who can forget the plagues God sent against Egypt, or the way God responded to Moses' request for God's name with the words, "I am that I am"? These words, these stories, and countless others are the inheritance left to us by the generations that preceded us, one that we hold in trust for those who will follow us. Torah is not remote or a distant document. It is the life force of a people coursing through history and through us. So as we reach the end of the story the Torah has been telling us, the annual cycle of readings in the weeks to come, we think back on all that has occurred to our ancestors in the Torah's telling of their stories, just at the time that we begin to look back at the year past in our own lives. The two things, the end of the readings and the end of the year, are coincident, but they're not coincidental. During the Yamim Noraim, the days of awe, from Rosh Hashanah through Yom Kippur, we rewind the memories of our own recent past. Just as on Simchat Torah, we re-scroll the Torah backwards through time. Each regression through time is for a specific purpose. We reset the Torah scroll in order to begin its story again, and we recall our deeds and our transgressions on the high holidays in order to rectify them and return to our better selves, in essence beginning our own stories again. We end the annual cycle of reading of the Torah, of the story that it's been telling us these last 12 months, not by dramatically concluding the story of the conquest of Canaan, but by going back to the beginning of its story, and simultaneously back to the beginning of our story as individuals, as we start a new year, to begin them both again. So in that sense, Torah does not end, just as our experience of each year does not end with a bang. Instead, it and we reset. Retelling its tales, the Torah hopes to provide us ever deeper insights into the meaning of our lives and our relationship to God. And in living through another year on the calendar, we get the chance to do so better than last year. Neither provides a dramatic finish, or really any finish at all worth mentioning, but rather the chance to spiral back again in order to make what is not well known familiar, and to transform the familiar into the transcendent. From all of us at Congregation Beth Judea, Shabbat Shalom. We look forward to seeing you at Slichot services.